Assalamu alaikum. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri. Wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Waj'al li waziran min ahli Haruna akhi. Ushdud bihi azri wa shriku fi amri. كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Welcome, dear friends. Inshallah, we will continue with our discussion from the 27th word on Ijtihad, independent judgments. And now we're starting the addendum to this section. Basically, the treatise on independent judgments, and the author was sharing what he thinks about in this day and age, situations are changing. And he shared a few things, gave us some examples in terms of the Friday sermons and how they are supposed to be, and just to be a reminder, basically. And then also gave us basically certain ways on how the deep meanings of the Quran, the ordinances change according to the school of law. So although the principal main belief system is there, but then based on the changes that happen in civilization with time, things change and the laws kind of change accordingly. And then he gave a comparison of the Shafi, which he said was closer to a nomadic village life, which was very interesting. I never thought of that. And Hanafi, there was already established social life. So that's why some rulings that happen, you need to keep that in mind as well. And so here he kind of the author goes into the addendum, which is on the companions of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, which is very interesting actually, because we don't really get to think about the importance of the companions of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. So we took some notes towards the end so that we can remind ourselves what we will discuss here. Like, all matters related to ijtihad depend on prophetic narrations. So that was also an interesting phrase, I thought. So all matters that are related to independent judgments, ijtihad, depend on the prophetic narrations, how he practiced it during his time, and what do we get out of it from his practice. So who is narrating them? The Prophet, peace and blessing upon him, as the messenger of God, is narrating all those narrations. So if I'm suspicious of the trustworthiness of the companions, so the companions who were with him, and they narrate to me, if I don't trust them, then I will cut off from the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. So that is, if there were no companions between me and the Prophet, I would not have any connection with the Prophet. So the companions need to be there for me to have a connection with the Prophet. And we were supposed to think about this. And any comments or thoughts before we start reading, or why are the companions needed and their importance, and why is the author kind of sharing this? So I will give the mic to Brother Ali. Please go ahead.
Why didn't they take the video of the Prophet all his life, since it was so important?
Because there was no such technology.
So uh, we have to think of the reality. The prophets always are or have been sended to pagan people, pagan people. We have no religious left of religion. We talk about it. We talked about it. Jesus' case was different, but we have to bear in mind that religion turned mixed up with some pagan ideas. So Jesus was sent. Torah was mixed up with racism. So he was sent to correct that part. Jesus himself narrates that I didn't come to change the law. I just wanted to change the foundations of Torah teaching. It means belief matters, which is mixed up with pagan idea, racism. That is also correct in general description of the prophets that they are sent to pagans. So Prophet Muhammad, his position, alayhi salatu wasalam, is very fundamental to understand the position of the prophethood. He was sent not to a people, a group of people, not to a certain period of time, but universal message. So his life, if we look at them, starts from scratch, zero, and comes to the peak point, establishing an empire. It means not empire really, as far as the in administration side, but spread the message quickly. At the beginning was very slow, but at the end it was so spread all over 3 continents. It's a great success. So starting from very, if you like, humiliating position, everybody's attacking them. Then the prophet and a handful of poor slaves around him have been suffering from these oppressions, coming to the peak point of success. So the pagan people of Mecca, it wasn't really common even to know how to read. Less so a few people, a handful of people knew how to write. Nothing else. Nothing is really recorded, white, etc. So oral culture was prevalent. Oral culture. So oral culture can only be transferred through what? Either recordings or human beings. Since recording wasn't the case in question at all, so human beings. That is why if companions are neglected, then we cannot have the religion at all. How about the Quran? Even the Quran, we wouldn't be able to have it. Why? Because only after how many years later the Quran was compiled. Let me see. After the death of the Prophet, 2 years, Abu Bakr administration, 10 years, Omar's administration, and then it was really widely spread in written form in Ottomans. It means after 12, 13 years later, 14 years later. Although it was compiled during Abu Bakr's period, but only one copy. Copy of what? Copy of written on the camel skins. Can you imagine a book of 600 pages now? Written on camel skins, spread all over the world. I mean, impossible. So oral culture was the foundation. So human beings must honestly transfer it. If we ignore companions, especially the ones who have been narrating, taking narration of the sayings and actions of the prophet seriously were not all companions. No, we know that there are quite a limited number of people who are concerned people, sincerely loyal people. So we have to, at least if we see some companions were ignorant, not uneducated, and they were not well aware of what the prophetic teaching is. I understand that. Although their loyalty is admirable, but their capacity to narrate the prophetic sayings and actions definitely were limited. But the ones who took this mission as their task, as their profession, they were loyal to the prophet, and that is why, especially Sunni tradition, never has any doubt if the narration goes back to them. But we have to be very careful about this subject, that most of the narrators that became famous during the later generations. I think this subject is important, but professionally it is very important for Farah because she's working on it. But this is important for us, but professionally it is important for Farah. Most of the narrators, as mentioned, the companions were very young people. They're not children, but young people when they were together with the prophet. This is important because we see some discrepancies in the narrations of these people. They narrate something happened in the life of prophet even when when prophet no, even when they were not born. Mainly, let me try to remember. As it is famous as Prophet's wife, Imam Aisha, Abu Huraira, Anas bin Malik. These are very famous. You see that most of the hadiths are referred to them. Anas bin Malik, Abdullah bin Abbas, Abdullah bin Ömer, Abdullah bin Mes'ud. They were young people, very young people. They didn't have many experience with the Prophet. But some people, especially Shiite side, they say they are not trustful because they narrate some events from the Prophet which took place either before they were born or when they were 5 years old. Impossible, 6 years old. For example, Anas bin Malik joined the Prophet's family life at the age of 6. And many narrations from him. Abu Huraira was a young man. Imam Ali, but he was a bit older than others. But although Sunni side don't know much about Imam Ali's narrations, but Shia side is full of narrations from Ali. He wasn't that young, but grown in the Prophet's family. So together with Prophet, they were cousins. So he was Prophet's cousin. So lived with with the Prophet. So, but we have to know that technically we need to know that these young people learned from the older generation of the companions. This is important. older generations of the companions, only those older generations who were either immigrants from Mecca who were educated together under the, if you like, tutorship of the Prophet, teaching of the Prophet, but they passed away soon after the Prophet passed away. So they learned from them, whoever remained alive, and then continued narrating them. That is why Shia claim doesn't have a base. Although Aisha narrates something which happened before she was born, or she was maybe 1 or 2 years old, narrates the hadith as if she has seen it. In fact, she was just maybe 2 or 3 years old, something like that, in Mecca, baby, Abu Bakr's daughter. But they were close in a relationship. A 3 years old daughter cannot remember anything. But she learned from others and became imam. So we have to understand that this was the case. The importance of companions. The companions, and related to our subject, ijtihad, independent something, judgment, or how do you translate
Yeah,
it?
judgments.
Yeah, independent judgment matters. Quran always speaks in general terms as far as the practical side of Islam is concerned. Eqimus salah, finish. What does it mean? What should I do? For example, make tasbih and tahmid during, before sunrise, after sunrise, during night, etc. But okay, do it. But where the prayer come from? 5 times daily prescribed prayers. How do we learn that? And the Prophet Muhammad والسلام, practiced throughout his life in Mecca, in Medina, I'm sorry, in Mecca somehow, but in Medina established 5 times prayer in his life, and the people narrate from there all the details. Now, when you take a commentary book, tafsir, commentary on the Quran, what we see there? We see an ayah. For example, ayah about practice of the Prophet, or how to make wudu, and also some practices like inheritance laws, like marriage, like application of qasas, retribution in punishment, and divorce problems. There are not many, but when we see these verses, you see maybe 10, 20 hadith narrations. Because without hadith narrations, you cannot apply as it is presented in the Quran. Quran says, there is life in qisas, retribution, in penal code. How can I practice it? In which conditions? If it was this way and it was that way, we definitely need prophetic examples. That is why ijtihad matters, mostly concerned with the differences of the narrations of the companions. Mostly. That is why ijtihad is needed. Difference of the narrations of the company comes from where? Not because they are not trustworthy, because they have seen one of them seen a kind of practice of the Prophet in one case. The other one has seen it a slightly different practice of the Prophet in another case. And the experts are trying to reconcile them. How the conditions changed and how the prophet applied in different conditions. All these differences of the madhahib or ijtihad comes from different narrations. Some experts say, now, in my time, the expert is speaking, in my time, during my conditions, these conditions, I think this practice narration of the prophet is more applicable to my case than the others. And the other mujtahid says, or expert says, this hadith narrates to my condition better. I prefer this one. That is why the differences of ijtihad occurred, not because the case is not clear. The case is narrated by mostly young companions as they have learned from elderly companions and narrated them. When we understand that, Shia criticism of these narrations have no base. They miss some point for political reasons. Not all of them, but quite a number of them. Scholars, of course, I am talking. Innocent people are ever innocent, so we cannot say anything. They are saved. But the scholars may reject the validity of the or trustworthiness of the companions because of reading the literal reading of the narration, saying that, for example, they were very angry with Aisha's narrations because Aisha learned a lot. Abu Huraira learned a lot from others. That's why when you really closely examine the narrations, Abu Huraira's narrations are different from some particular narrations of particular companions because he narrates what he has learned from the others. But some particular narrators who died earlier, so we don't hear their name much, they are very precise. But Abu Huraira learned it and paraphrased it. So when you read the hadith, you can clearly see it. But you have to have the opportunity to compare the narrations. These are details, but why we are reading the addendum to the 27th word, it is ijtihad, the section on ijtihad, the companions of the prophet. What is it to do with it? It has everything to do with it. Without the companions, we cannot have hadith narrations. Without the hadith narrations, we cannot apply the Quranic description of the social and individual practical matters. We cannot have it. And if we don't have a strong base for trusting the companions, we cannot talk about ijtihad at all. It is out of subject. If we didn't have it, it would be out of subject. If we didn't have the companions. That is why it is very important to study and understand the mission of the companions, why they were trustful, because they are the people who committed their life to the prophetic tradition. If I don't trust somebody who is ready to die or who died really to protect this message, if I don't trust this person, whom else I should trust? He died for it in his life, or he committed his life to this mission. that he didn't die in war conditions, in defense conditions, defending the prophetic mission. So we have to be careful while we are hearing that this is a false narration, this is something, criticisms. We have to be very careful whether it is a legitimate criticism or not. But after the companions, when the political turmoils happened, so political emotions evolved. We have to be careful about that. Excuse me. But these political turmoils, incidents, took place if there is a narration about these matters. I am suspicious, frankly, because yes, Abu Huraira narrates something. Yes, Ibn Umar narrates something. Ibn Abbas narrates something. Aisha narrates something. That is correct, but after Aisha's narration, there were other people involved in it. We can put a question mark there, but we cannot put the question mark for companions. But narrators, later generation narrators, 2, 3 generations later, it may be mixed up, but we have no right to criticize the validity or loyalty, trustworthiness of the companions. We have no right to do that. But we have some rights for later generations after the political turmoils happened, especially between Ali, Aisha, and Muawiyah. So during this period, everything was mixed up. So we have to know where our feet are firmly based on, where it was a bit slippery. We have to make the distinction and watch out accordingly if we want to benefit from hadith. But if we are not into the subject, we should keep quiet. I don't know. I follow the major 5 mezahib, even Ahl Sunnah except Shafi'iyya. So Hanefi, Shafi, Maliki, and Hanbali, and Jafari. That's it. These are accepted, practiced by the whole Muslim community because they were trusted scholars. These scholars scrutinize the hadith narrations and find out which is appropriate according to their living conditions. And I will adapt myself to one of them. This method fits my condition. But about the common people, who is really consciously choosing a method? No, just I follow their tradition. So accept it as it is. Don't say anything to them. If you know how to make the distinction between the conditions, not legitimacy of the mezahib, we have to watch out. Now, Shafi is better than Hanbali. No, you cannot say this. Hanbali experienced certain lifestyle, life living conditions, and decided accordingly. Shafi experienced certain life decides and decided, has chosen and decided accordingly. You have to see the conditions as we read the text, as Asim in his introduction presented. Hanafi are more rural, excuse me, not rural. Uh, what is the opposite of rural?
Urban?
Urban life style. Correct. Shafi is more inclined to rural life conditions. Correct. You have to see in these conditions you are living. Not because your parents are Shafi, you have to be Shafi, but you have to know. You have to know. If you don't know, follow your tradition. Don't speak about it because you are not qualified. That's it. As if you are, I am ill when I go to hospital. What doctor tells me, I just follow it. That's it. Why? It's not my specialty. I don't know which one is better than the others. It is not my area of interest or expertise. I just follow it. And when I follow an advice of a doctor, then I'm doing my job. That's it. Allah will not take me to task and ask me question. Why did you follow this doctor? I will say, he is the expert as far as I know. That's it. That's my responsibility. Of course, Allah, God knows better than everyone else. So he will say, okay, you had a good intention, but the doctor wasn't a good one for you. You didn't know. I didn't know. That is, I'm excused. I think the case became clear in my mind, and it is enough, I think, for you as well. If you have questions, I would like to emphasize on it as much as I understand, or we can discuss together. You don't have to agree with me, definitely not.
Oh, mashallah, alhamdulillah, very well presented. Case is much clearer to me at least. So what happened after political turmoil, basically, in terms of Ali and Aisha? So, for example, like you mentioned about the Shia rejected based on the age or like the experience of the younger narrators. And would there be like a reflection in terms of, or based on these political turmoils, like a kind of that kind of deters again based on the positions of Aisha, but then I still don't grasp how then Ali was taken so
Now,
carefully, meticulously, whereas the Sunnis, why did they reject Ali? Like they didn't emphasize much on him.
because conflict took between Ali and Aisha, even Ali and Muawiyah conflict goes back to a little bit, not completely. Muawiyah was a person who claimed kingdom. That's it. But Imam Ali was 100% right. So kingdom cannot be acceptable in Islam. That's it. But he didn't say, Muawiyah didn't say kingship is accepted by Islam. He said, I have the authority. I'm going to use it. That's it. Uh, uh, anyways, it is it's a long story. Just because Aisha and Ali was in conflict in ijtihad again about justice, how we should apply justice. There are two ways of application of justice, which is called absolute justice. The other one is called relative justice. Absolute justice says if you don't have 100% evidence that the person accused is 100% guilty, if you don't have any, if you don't have 100% evidence demonstrating that the accused person is guilty, you cannot apply the rule fully to him according to the portion of it. So, but relative justice says, adalet mahsa, adalet ila idafiye, relative adalet. It says, okay, for example, there is a big confusion, turmoil in New York about two people, right? If we just, because people want them to be killed, but the judge says, I don't have enough evidence. So I cannot pass the judgment saying that they should be executed. And 10 million people, I don't know how many million in New York, 8 million, I think. 8 million is having a great conflict between themselves, causing lots of damages and casualties. But if judgment said, kill these two people, everything will be peaceful. All right? 8 million people have a peaceful life. I am exaggerating the case in order to make it clear and understandable, because absolute justice says you cannot kill these two people just because for the comfort of other people, because these people are not sure that they are guilty. There is no enough evidence. One, that is absolute justice. And relative justice says, for the peaceful life of 8 million people, let's kill these two people. Imam Ayşe said, sometimes we need relative justice. Imam Ali said, no, absolute justice. The problem was assassination of Caliph Osman. The argument was argument took place after the death of Osman. So people killed Osman, and there were 400 people from different tribes. No one knows who he is. But among 400 people, one or two of them killed Osman. Aisha said, no, Imam Ali took caliphate after Osman. Aisha said, Imam Ali must find out the murderers and execute qisas. Imam Ali said, how can I find out? 400 people. No one saw. There is no evidence that a particular person has killed Umar. But it was a mob activity. The case was so ambiguous. Imam Ali said, I cannot kill anybody apply qisas, kill anybody just because he may be the more likely one. I cannot pass this judgment. Aisha and some companions supporting him, but Ummah is in trouble. They are fighting with each other. Osman's murderers must be found. And as I gave the example of New York people, thousands of, maybe hundreds of thousands of people disturbed. Let us find out 1, 2, 3 more likely people and execute qisas, and the community will experience peace now, reach peace. Imam Ali said, I cannot do this because absolute justice must be applied. Aisha said, you can apply relative justice, and both of them, based on their argument, different narrations from the prophetic practices. Now, both of them made ijtihad sincerely according to the practice of the prophet. But these two ijtihad contradict each other. What shall we do? That is why the conflict between Aisha and Ali took place, and then it turned into Muawiyah and Ali. But Aisha and Ali's problem was differences of ijtihad. Both of them were right, according to the evidence they had, narrated from the practice of Prophet, but contradicted each other. You cannot apply two of them at the same time. I mean, you kill a people, or not kill a people. How can you reconcile two of them? Do you think I should just kill the arm of the person? It is not justifiable. So it became an unsolvable problem, and Of course, this was higher. This was good. This was good. People took hadith narrations afterwards seriously. It saved, because of this conflict, it saved all the later generations. And now we settle down what to do. We know because of this event. But of course, as far as they are concerned, they had the problem. But we are now reaping the result, harvest. Now, comfortable. So, but Muawiyah and Ali conflict is not based on differences of ijtihad. It was just Muawiyah's self-claim of authority. It has no base. And Muawiyah never brought up an hadith practice narration saying that I am right because Prophet applied this kind of, the commander of chief of the army must have independent authority. There is no such. Commander of the army is appointed by the imam of the community, caliph of the community. In Sunni tradition, in Shi'i tradition, imam. The same thing, but names are different. But they mean the same thing. Imam, the terminology used for the same Emir al-Mu'minin, imam, they call it. Sunni tradition says caliph, khalifa, they call it. But in fact, everything goes down to Emir al-Mu'minin. So I prefer Emir al-Mu'minin, not neither of them. But Imam is more likely because of the definition of Imam. Anyways, that's my preference. Now, we should not confuse the conflict between Imam Ali and Muawiyah. Muawiyah has no Shari'i base at all. Imam Ali has every Shari'i base completely. So 100% right. The other one is 100% wrong. But when it comes to Imam Ali, this is called Siffin incident. But in the Camel incident, Jamal, Waqai Jamal, Jamal, sorry, not Jamal, Jamal. The Camel incident, it was the differences of ijtihad. So Ali was right in his terms, Aisha was right in his terms, but the case conflict. That is different. So we have to understand that in this turmoil, because of the people's emotional involvement of this conflict, thousands of people were killed during these wars. They narrate 4,000 people were killed during these events. It is not a small event, very serious event. So people made up some hadith narrations saying that Abu Hurairah said this, for example. But Abu Hurairah is innocent because he didn't say such thing. But this person's reference to Abu Hurairah was fabrication because of this political, for political, if political, if politics interfered into a subject, what happens? Lies. Because of this uh, supporting some party, making it look legitimate. So we have to be very cautious about narrations related to these events and something to do with political conditions. I am very cautious about it. But how to pray, how to fast, how to give zakat, I have no doubt about it. But Mazahib differences, correct. These are differences of ijtihad. And every ijtihad has its legitimacy within its own self. All of them are correct, but I have to choose according to my living conditions, one of the madhab. Clear?
Yes, Alhamdulillah. Very good. Thank you. So one more question. So why is the Sunni not taking the Ali's narration seriously? Like, why don't they have many narrations of him?
The same reason.
Because of
Yeah.
the
Polit
conflict or political reason or what?
yeah, political reason. Political reason. Not because they don't
Okay.
trust, but Sunni side has some reason to be cautious about Imam Ali's narrations. Because Imam Ali's narrations continue through mostly Shia scholars' narrations, or the Shia people's narrations. So, although Imam Ali is innocent, but they may add something. If you read Nahjul Balagha book, a compilation of Imam Ali's sermons, khutbah, you will see that there is different, something messed up, political matters, something messed up. But where? Which one? Which is correct? Which is not correct? You can't be sure. For example, I read it, I couldn't decide. This is correct, this is not correct. No. And Sunni side kept away from it. I think they couldn't solve the problem. So which one is right, which one is wrong, we don't know. So, but very famous Imam Ali's narrations, which has nothing to do with political matters, Sunni side took it. But they are not many, or not as many as we expect hadith narrations from Imam Ali. So, because he has been with the Prophet during his lifetime, a young child age in Mecca, starting from the first year of revelation until he was assassinated again. He was assassinated too, so by Kharijites. So how many years? Let me see, 23 years of mission, and 2 Abu Bakr, 25, 10 Umar, 35, 8 Osman. Am I wrong? I think 8 Osman. How much is it now? How many years? 23, 25, 35, 42, and how many years Imam Ali lived? And 4 years as a caliph. Something like around 40 years of experience, life. After, in his life, he must have had lots of narrations from the Prophet, loads of it. But when it became political tension, the Sunni side took maybe more than needed precautions and discarded Ali's narrations. This is a kind of not very nice to know, but at the same time, Shiite side almost mostly rejects and disregards Sunni side hadith narrations. Unfortunately, this happened, but this is how we are being tested now. What are we going to do? Are we going to turn this matter into a conflict now? Or just be happy with what I have been given by the takdir ilahi, qadarullah. It means that is how I have here. I have to benefit from it. That is enough for me to practice, more than enough. And Shia people, innocent Shia people also should say, that is what we have been introduced. Sincerely apply it in my life and forget about the rest of conflict. We should never, ever, never, ever talk about this conflict and be a matter of discordance among ourselves at all. Never mentioned. A Shia person, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. If he's praying, go pray behind him. If a Shia person sees that a Sunni person prays, he has to come, he or she, follow the Sunni Imam. Why? Fundamentals of the prayer are the same. One of them does it this way, another one does it this way, but both of them say Allahu Akbar, both of them recite Fatiha, both of them recite the piece from the Quran, the same Quran. Musaf is the same. There is no two different Musaf. Shia Musaf, Sunni Musaf. Alhamdulillah, that is great. One Musaf, one book. Now that is united. Alhamdulillah. So they recite the same thing. I say Subhana Rabbiyal Ala. They say something else, but still glorifying Allah. Doesn't matter. And they prostrate, they bow down, they sit, they stand up. What's wrong with it? One of them recites longer, the other one recites shorter. What? So what? Nothing wrong with it. So I feel very comfortable, which I practice and do, follow Shia Imam. I have no doubt about it. Why? I have been there and prayed with them. And not this last summer, but previous summer, I was there in Iran, Iraq, Shia side. And they recite the same Quran, they do the same things, but they combine Maghrib and Isha, and Dhuhr and Asr. Well, if you don't like, you don't combine. That's it. You don't have to. That's it. So everybody has his own principle. I have my own principle. So I don't want to contradict the community in general. That's my principle. What the community of Muslim people do, I follow them. That's it. But it's my life. That's my understanding. So why do they do that? Because of their standpoint. Sunni people has right to have some hesitations, and Shia people not much really, but they say it is not appropriate to our stand because they don't accept kings after Imam Ali at all, which is right. I don't either. So, but they come up with a funny idea that hidden imam. That is something also weird for me. That these are my personal ideas. So we have to keep the balance, inshallah.
Inshallah. So the ijtihad between Sunni and Shia is like the major thing that happens these days. Independent judgment, but the fundamentals are
Yeah, fundamentals are the same.
the same, yeah.
We cannot say that Shia people are wrong, and inshallah, Shia people should not say that Sunnis are wrong. I mean, they will say, that's not my way. I will say, this is not my way. They will say, this is not our way, but legitimate. Doesn't matter. We should never talk about it.
Okay, yeah. And also you included Jafri school of thinking also. So isn't that related to Shia also a little bit?
Yeah, yes, but Imam Jafar was the teacher of Abu Hanifa, mind you. So in that source, there is no difference. But unfortunately, this common people, public speakers say four method. This is also, I think, either ignorance or, again, political reaction to Shiites. If someone is comfortable about it, I am very comfortable. I personally accept five major. There are many other madhahib, but they are not famous among the Muslim community. Five major madhab, as we include four Hanafi, uh, sorry, not Hanafi, Sunni and Jafari. So whoever follows Jafari, they are innocent people. They are more close to Hanafi side. The people of Amman also, very close to Sunni side.
MashaAllah,
Does
very
anyone
good points
know?
today. Alhamdulillah.
Sorry?
Very good points today, MashaAllah, alhamdulillah, to reflect on.
So how, I don't know, I don't know. Does anybody know I mean, uh, maybe on the verge of Shia and Sunni, but more to the Shia, but very close to Sunni, and they are not conflicting with Sunnis and not really reacting them. So these people of Amman, how is it called? Zaidi. Yeah,
Yeah, Zaydis.
I wanted to go there, but Amman to get a visa. I wanted to experience their life as well, but to get visa from Amman is so hard, and I gave up. Okay.
Amman, Jordan, or
No, 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 not
Oman? Oman, you mean?
Oman, Oman.
Oh, say Oman.
Yani,
Okay.
uh,
The country Oman. Yeah.
yeah, country Oman, next to Yemen. I mean, on one side, the other side, on the south of Arabian Peninsula, on the Indian Ocean. Are they Ibadis or Zaydis? I don't know. I forgot the name. So I have a brochure. I had a brochure introducing Islam published by them for tourists. There are many tourists go there. So I see no difference between Sunni understanding and their understanding. I have never seen Ibadi. I mean, you can check from Google. Whatever the name is, I don't know, Ibadis or Sayyidis or whatever. I don't know. I forgot them. Okay.
Yeah, alhamdulillah, I think we are at time. It was beautiful, actually. Thank you, Brother Ali, for sharing your reflections. And we'll continue, inshallah, about the companions of the Prophet,
Yeah.
inshallah.
And as we left off last week, just how, yeah? Let's mark the book.
Yeah, I think we'll start again from here. I was curious also why the author also presents like a Sufi scholar's kind of saying here to go into the companions, which was very interesting also.
Oh, okay, okay. If you like, we can start from there. That is up to you. We don't have to finish it one day before.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. I think it's better to go slowly a little bit because this
Yeah, 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 yeah. Just,
topic of ijtihad became clear to me, alhamdulillah. A
yeah.
bit.
So we have to have a comfortable, relaxed, peaceful heart and mind without taking any part. We have to be really impartial in this case. Inshallah.
Inshallah. So we'll stop here. Thank you, everyone. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعوانا على الحمد لله رب العالمين بحرمة سورة الفاتحة
Inshallah.